Good morning. Welcome to Toastmasters, AM Lockport, worth getting up for. One of the greatest things about this group is that they're always here and they're always so cheerful in the morning. I have a hard time getting up. I am not a morning person, but this club definitely helps with that. I heard we do have an inspiration there. Someone had asked to do the inspiration. Yes or no? In the room? Well, I'm going to jump over that then, and I'm going to go right to the pledge then. If you could stand up, stand. There's a flag in the front of the room next to Carol Ann.
Thomas, we have an inspiration.
Oh, we have an inspiration? All right.
Last time we solved this, the volume on the TV just went up. I was at 90%.
Okay, hold on.
As we transition into autumn, may we enjoy the brilliant colors of the season. With the many, many summer activities behind us, may we have more time for reflection.
Great, thank you.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you, everyone. This morning, we're going to have an excellent subject, and I understand that we have fairly long, two speeches, one which is a little bit longer than normal, so that will work out perfectly with our schedule with only two speakers. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Carol Ann.
Good morning. I had a few late notifications of people not being able to make it. So I would like to someone could take the word master, and I need an master. Okay. Oh. Thank you. Many of you may be familiar with the song Vincent, sung by Don McLean. Starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. I was first introduced to Vincent van Gogh in 8th grade when our art class watched a short film called Darkness into Light. And this was the making of the movie Lust for Life. And it is about the life of Vincent van Gogh. It stars Kirk Douglas. And recently, since I was going to the Beyond Van Gogh exhibit that's here in our area now, I saw that they had the movie Lust for Life in the library. And I would recommend that for anyone who is interested in Van Gogh, and especially if you plan on going to see Beyond Van Gogh, because it gives you a lot of background. a couple of quotes from Vincent van Gogh. Real painters do not paint things as they are. They paint them as they themselves feel them to be. And the diseases that civilized people labor under most are melancholy and pessimism. I would like to make a toast to Vincent van Gogh and all the artists who may not have been recognized in their lifetime. Kate has agreed to be the word master, and we have our word.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The word of the day is tantalizing. Tantalizing means exciting the senses, stimulating interest, and we're tantalized by the theme of Van Gogh today. Tantalize, please use as you can.
Jackie, as jester, what have you for us today?
Now, in my Vincent van Gogh bag, I have a few little items. Oh, so sorry. It's tantalizing to maybe minimize Vincent's life a little bit. He had a very tragic life, but I did find some humor. For instance, I asked Vincent van Gogh to get me 6 eggs from the store. He came back with 3. Rigotti could only hear half of what I was saying. I'm sure everybody knows what brand of tires Van Gogh used. Goodyear, of course. A friend of mine is convinced that Van Gogh painted the Mona Lisa. I just don't have the art to correct him. What did Mike Tyson say to Vincent van Gogh? It's bad. You're gonna eat that? Okay. Vincent van Gogh's relatives. His dizzy aunt, vertigo. His prune-loving brother, gotta go. His convenience store owner cousin, stop and go. His constipated uncle, can't go. The ballroom dancer aunt, tango. His nephew, psychoanalyst, ego. That's enough.
Does someone have a quote? Elaine is not present.
You gave us so many, they were nice ones that you already gave us.
So have we heard enough quotes? Okay. And Sylvia has agreed to be our master. Tell us about your job.
Morning, I will be counting asks, sows, pregnant pauses, and I hope I can hear everyone on the screen today.
Our tech and gesture master is Tom Moran. Tell us about your job.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Yes, my job this morning will be to evaluate, give you my thoughts at the end of the meeting regarding the operation of the technical end of the meeting and also the use of gestures. I have been busily writing this morning already, so I have quite an extensive report. So if we finish early, I'll be more than happy to give you the full report. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
He's done.
He's done.
Go ahead.
Okay. And Tracy, our quiz master.
Today, I will
Ready?
be listening intently to everybody's speeches, and I hope you all are listening to those most tantalizing pieces of information, because there will be a quiz at the end of the meeting.
And our timer, Kate.
Keep track of our timing, and everyone here knows what you need to do. So it also may be that anyone is up for being called on table topics, no matter the roles you hold. So be ready for that. And then can we just test the volume on the TV higher, or nope, it's not yet? Okay, just checking. Thank you.
And our general evaluator, Nancy Perry.
Thank you, Carol Ann. I will be evaluating the evaluators as well as evaluating the general flow of the meeting. Look forward to it. Tantalization.
And remember the word of the day, tantalizing, for all of those who our table topics master Dave Licata will call on today.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm racking my brain thinking during my sojourn in Europe over 50 years ago, whether I stood in front of a Van Gogh or not. I was pretty clever about making it to different museums. Don't wander off, Larry. I see that Larry's up and about. And I always wondered if he could be up and about, seeing how he's part of the technical crew here. Larry?
See?
You're going to participate in table topics, I hope.
Always ready.
Good. Now, I'm racking my brain. I couldn't think of any time my path crossed Vincent van Gogh. Oh, and by the way, Carol Ann, a little insensitive with the topic today. This is the age of math. He's only got one ear. I thought that was a little rough on Vincent. I want to apologize for that joke. Larry,
David.
did your path ever cross Vincent van Gogh's? Do you have an experience, a memory? Here.
Thank you very much, Dave, for this opportunity to speak about Vincent van Gogh. Well, have my paths ever crossed Vincent van Gogh? Well, not really. I still have both ears intact. I don't hear it quite as well as I used to, because a lot of the bass and different things from the career that I chose from music. And sometimes that works well, because when I'm at home, my wife will speak to me a lot of times, and I keep turning the volume up every once in a while. And she says, "Are you deaf?" I said, "No, I just can't hear the TV." She goes, "Well, you're not listening to me either." And I said, "Oh, I'm listening. I just can't hear you." Selective hearing. So, but if somebody's talking and the TV is on and you're trying to pay attention to a Yankees game, sorry, who's not the Yankees fan? No. And you can't hear it, you have to turn it up so you're able to hear the announcer speak. So therefore, the people that are in the room, you try to drown them out. But that's not really a Vincent van Gogh story, is it?
No.
There's no art involved there. But if I were to be a Vincent van Gogh, I would probably want to paint some things. And the thing that I would want to paint would be a beautiful picture of the Vermont. You're looking at me like you're in. See, Mom made me a cup of Vermont coffee this morning. And it reminded me of when I traveled up through Vermont and New Hampshire, in the fall season, which we're about to approach right now. And it was tantalizing how, oh, she's writing it right there, tantalizing how beautiful it was when all of those lovely trees were turning colors. And I can't wait to have that experience once again this year. And hopefully I'll be able to see it. I may not be able to hear it, but with that opportunity to speak today, and thanks for putting me on the agenda, Mr. Licata. I appreciate it, and it was a tantalizing experience.
We had the opportunity to scan the room, searching for people that don't have a job. As much as I'd like to call on Len, he's very, very busy. I won't do that to him. I'm not gonna call, what the situation is this. I may have not crossed Van Gogh's path as a student, but I had the privilege of going to Italy, which means I crossed Michelangelo's paths many times. And even though she came up with some wonderfully lively jokes, I know that my friend Jackie Kenny been to Bella Italia more than once and actually lived there. So she must have some Michelangelo stories. And don't forget to use tantalizing or tantalizer, which is Nancy's new perfume, tantalizer. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I did live in Italy and I did enjoy a lot of Michelangelo's art, especially some unfinished sculptures in Florence that to me looked like they were trying to get out of the marble. He was helping them. He didn't get a chance to finish them. But I've also had the opportunity to see Van Gogh during a trip to Paris at the d'Orsay Museum, which was surrounded by armed men. That was a very strange experience. Armed guards with huge automatic weapons standing outside the museum while you were waiting in line to get in. I'd never experienced that before. But seeing Michelangelo's work and then going to the same Van Gogh exhibit that Carol Ann went to, it was amazing. You don't experience the brushwork and the thickness of the paint to the same degree, but seeing these huge projections of his work and also learning more about his story, which was a very sad, sad life. He never had any success with his art. And his brother supported him through his whole life until he finally committed suicide. Some of his paintings are views from the room that he was in an asylum. It's a tragic story. Tantalizing to see and view. Thank you, Mr. Jacob.
Still racking my brain. I don't know. In the British Museum, I saw some Impressionists, but I don't think I saw any Van Gogh. Did see some Monet, but then I found out he was Baroque. I was at the same museum as Jackie. I did see those unfinished trying to break out. And those statues were going to go to some incredibly wealthy folk. And they were figures, I think, Moses had a Old Testament theme. You're not supposed to comment on any speeches, even table topics. But I want to thank Jackie for reminding me that I stood in that same spot in Florence. Now, seeing how we're dropping museums names today with great alacrity, little Dave here did make it to the Louvre, and I had I had gentlemen with me that were in my study group in 1971 who were not of the Christian persuasion. And all that medieval art and all that Renaissance art is all Christian. So I got worn out from explaining everything as we tromped through the Louvre. Plus, I'm always a little bit, I'm not an expert on art, but I've always enjoyed any documentary where they might want to talk about it. So we're tromping through the Louvre, and let's face it, our goal is to find the Mona Lisa. And we didn't have the map, we didn't have the brochure, we're just tromping. But luckily we came through the right door and we started with the Mesopotamian art, worked our way up to the Renaissance. And we said, oh man, we're a little bit more outdated, let's just take a break and sit down here in this room. And we sat down in the room, we looked up and there she was smiling back at us. Good work, boys, you found. Even though she's general evaluator, she will get to evaluate herself. When I asked Nancy Ferry, do you have anything to share with us Leonardo da Vinci wise?
I might not be clean. I have been to the Louvre. Unfortunately, I didn't make it very far. We were in a tour group and it was very, very hot and we were stuffed up like sardines walking through and it was about 120 degrees and I passed out. So I ended up at the Louvre with mostly on the front step with people fanning me and trying to cool me off. There were several of us in the tour. I wasn't alone. So that's my fond memory of the Louvre. I forgot what the question was.
Got any Leonardo da Vinci moments, but you don't have because you passed out.
That's right. That's right.
Not to prompt you.
I enjoy art, but I am not
Far out.
music and art and that woo kind of experience. I don't always have those woo experiences. I did study when I was in Europe, we did study some of the art. And I'm telling you that my brain is not remembering all of those things. But I am so looking forward to going to the Van Gogh exhibit. I think I have tickets next week. And 3 of us are going, so I'm really excited about that. And it will be.
Don't forget to plug your new perfume.
I was going to. Thank you very much. I have it on both sides of my neck and my wrists, and I feel very tantalizing today. Thank you.
Well, we're going to have a brief meeting today because I'm out of the topics. It has been my privilege to stand in front of the Michelangelo's Pieta, Michelangelo's David. Now, I had to see David. You know, he named a statue after me. I had to go. And to share a little aside, I never gave my dad much credit for being a sensitive, artistic person, but he did go to Italy, and I said, you said you saw Michelangelo's David, didn't you? He goes, that was something. I gave my father high praise for that, and it did even move him. I do have another friend, Louis Rosati, and his wife is standing there at Michelangelo's David in Florence, looking at this incredible piece of art. And her husband tugs her and said, we're leaving now. And she wanted to spend another moment or two with this incredible piece of art. And he said, I saw that in Vegas. Alrighty then, I see that my wordmaster, my timer are the same person. This will go so quickly. Go ahead, dear.
Thank you very much. Everyone qualified? Larry at 158, Jackie at 201, Nancy at 148. Everyone used the word of the day. Larry used it twice. Please vote. We'll come around for ballots in person or chat to Larry. Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Miss Timer Word. And now we're gonna reintroduce our Toastmaster of the day.
To get a ballot.
Oh, she's gotta get a ballot. All right, I can vamp some more. I went to the British Museum and I saw water lilies by I think Monet. And that was really incredible. And it's huge. It would fill this room. So that was interesting. I'm racking my brain here. But on my brief sojourn in Europe, I did real good. But when we went to Poland, Da Vinci's Girl with the Earring was there in Warsaw somewhere, and I couldn't convince Mrs. Lacat on a little side trip because I want, that would have been another arrow in my quiver of famous art that I got to stand in front of. Are you all set, Carol?
Yes.
You ready for reintroduction?
Yes.
All right, it's Carol Ann, and she's back.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, sir. Yeah.
We've had our timer word reports and our ballot cast for table topics. Vincent van Gogh's behavior indicated that he suffered from a bipolar disorder. And in a pre-pharmaceutical era of treating mental illness, unfortunately, Vincent finally succumbed to complications following a self-inflicted gunshot wound. There is some debate that he was shot by someone else, but nothing has ever been proven. And he was 37 when he died. And none of his I believe one of his paintings was actually sold in his lifetime. Now we just have two speakers today. Speaker one will be Phil Russell, and he has a little more lengthy speech. I believe it's 6 to 10 or 10 to 12. He can clear that up for me. And David Jones, his evaluator. No.
Can't hear you, or what is it?
No, I believe I'm going to be doing Marty. I believe I'm doing Marty. I think. But I could do Phil or Marty. If Marty's giving a speech.
We've had a difficulty
Can you all hear me?
with audio.
Go ahead, David.
No, I thought I was going to be evaluating Marty, but I could also do Phil. I don't know if Marty's doing the follow-up speaker or not.
Yes, I would appreciate if you could evaluate Phil.
I don't have any information, so I'll have to have you.
Phil will fill you in.
Okay.
Phil?
All right. Everybody ready for me? Is that it? Can you hear me? All right, all right. Can the audience hear me? Sure. Very good, very good. I'm not starting my speech yet. Today is the 9th. My speech, I am going to give you the parameters. It is from the Pathways International. And it is from the what is it, communication area. It's 10 to 12. Pathways Project, what do they call that? BC something communication. I don't have it up in front of me. So, and I was going to expect it to become on third, but that's okay. This is a project that is the completion of level 5, which is, I will explain it when I speak, the speech itself. So I'm going to take a 2-second break here, review my notes, and I will be right back.
And I'm gonna do timer for Phil, since it's hard to see the thing on there. So.
Thank you,
Right.
David. So that we're synced up, David, on timing, can you hear me okay? Okay, so we'll do 10 on green, 11 on amber, 12 on red.
Sounds good.
Okay, I got the thumbs up. Now all our sound applications seem like we're on track. So right in time for the speaking portion, I think our volume got fixed. We had some issues at this end, but we're sounding good. We can hear you. We're giving Phil a bit of time to be prepared. As a level 5 incoming and DTM, he knows how to do that. So he's showing it in his skills. Thank you, Phil, for going with the flow. And then you give us the thumbs up when you are ready. That's a thumbs up. And who has his title? Anyone? Anyone? Bill, what's your title?
Oh, how about one more thing?
Is that the title?
That's it.
All right. How about one more thing? Bill Russell. Bill Russell. How about one more thing?
I actually thought I was done with this nonsense and this path. I really did. I felt, hey, this is number 5. I finished it last week. But no, they always have one more thing to throw at you. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. And one more thing is a review. A review of my Toastmaster experience. Look, going back to 1982, when I started in this thing, Wheeler got me involved in it, or I got myself involved in it. My mother did. I'll talk about Dave Wheeler in a minute. 1982, Lockport Toastmasters started at Old City Hall, down in the basement. And I'm a charter member of that group, which no longer exists. So it would take me about an hour or two to give you the whole story. So I will try to sum it up in a few things. How about accomplishments? Part of this project is accomplishments. Well, under the old regime, I did a CTM, 15 speeches, ATM, 5 speeches out of 3 books, a couple other things you had to do, DTM, officers, and all this other stuff, because I was every position in this club I did not want to go to the district level, so I only accomplished the area 1, area 2, I think it was at that time. And I even had to dig really deep to get the paperwork for my DTM, the original DTM. It was interesting. It was interesting. Now, let's talk about accomplishments outside of it. Dave Wheeler. I joined Toastmasters, Dave Wheeler. I didn't know Dave Wheeler from anything. He was from Medina. He was a manager at MetLife. I was coaching football at Buffalo State. I needed make some money. He and I started talking. He introduced me at MetLife. Oh, we went up. I met a guy by the name of Bob Raquel, who ended up at 1 Madison Avenue. I didn't. He did. And I was coaching. And that helped me out a great deal, all of this Toastmastering thing, because I was petrified of speaking in front of people. It was amazing because my first speech was a white knuckle red speech. I couldn't do anything but that. What did I learn? One of the things I learned, I got a job to basically support my bad habit of coaching. I learned how to say no. I got out of coaching, and I'm glad I did, because the guy I learned out in Arizona from, he said, you know, make some money first, you could always coach. I wanted to coach first, get it out of my system. Glad I did. I wouldn't want to be coaching these kids today for all the tea in China. No, thank you. You're dealing with a lot of politics. You're dealing with a lot of administrators. You're dealing with parents. At the college level, it was administration, politics. Oh, it was crazy. So it was fine that I did my 20 years and out. Had a great time doing it. Worked with the best people I've ever worked with in my life. Most of them are dead now, but it was fun. What was the impact? Let's talk about the impact. Made new friends. Got a lot of self-confidence. Where you didn't have it before, you get it. That's an interesting thing, this self-confidence. When you don't have it, you're always questioning yourself, you're questioning others. When you do have it, the world is your oyster. You can accomplish anything you want. Next, what's the next thing to do? Well, this pathways, I wasn't too happy with when it started. However, after this review, and you know why I like a review? I learned this in coaching. This review is cool. Because when we were coaching, we were at Friday Night Lights out in Arizona. We'd get over the game about 9, 10, maybe 11 o'clock. We'd have our movies within an hour. And we were reviewing those at the earliest midnight. And then we were trading films, and we were reviewing theirs at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is high school. That's what the pros do, because Ed was a pro. And it was fun, because here you go. Now, I have to admit that sometimes when the review of the film, we had a few pops in between. It made it more interesting, especially if you were celebrating a win. And we did. We celebrated a lot of wins out there. In fact, we generated into a state championship team out there, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of characters involved, and it was a great time. So this idea of reviewing, and the reason I took the speech on was because to review it as quickly as possible. That's the whole idea. What did you accomplish? I went back and I reviewed every speech I gave yesterday. Didn't take that long because it's all there in this pathways, which I did not like at first, but it's there. And it's all in black and white. You just have to pull it up on the computer. Okay, were you happy with this? Were you confident with that? Yes. You rate yourself, give it 1 through 5 score. Most of the time, 99%, I increased from my first evaluation to my last evaluation at the end of that particular project. That's pretty good. I counted maybe 1 or 2 that I felt I didn't quite get to where I wanted to in this path. So what's next? Next, I'm starting on this new one, innovative planning. You know why? Because I want to plan my next 33 years. Remember that? Living to 100? Okay, 106, that's 33 years from now. Got to plan it out. Got to do the planning. That'll be interesting. Because a lot of people, when they get to my age, they just stop thinking forward. This is the best time to start thinking. because you have all that you've experienced in your past life and going forward. It's really interesting. I was thinking about what I plan, this learning part and moving forward. Now, a lot of people, we've got a hybrid meeting here. And some people think I should be standing. I don't. The reason because if you watch television a little bit, you'll see the only people that stand on the news are the weather people. The news people, the sports people are all seated. And that's why they get it across, unless they're on location. So I felt I'm trying to tell you something, trying to show you something that's going on, just like they are. I don't need to stand. It would be better if I was there, but I have personal things that I have to do now that force me not to be at the meetings, the meetings in person. We have a sick dog. The dogs are part of your family, and if you can't treat them like family, you shouldn't have one. So I take care of my dog. She's sick. She has to be hand fed. I have to take her out every couple of hours. She is blind. She's deaf. She has all these problems. So I take care of her. And that's part of Toastmasters. The great part about Zoom is I'm able to be here. Now, if I was scheduled or couldn't be there, you'd have one speaker. I told Carol Ann when I called her, I accidentally called Sylvia by mistake at first. One of the faux pas that you have in this world is you make mistakes, but I had to look it up. Carol Ann being the Toastmaster, and she put me in, and we talked about it. I thought I filled everything in and saved it. That's why I couldn't find it. Best part about this, I'm learning the computer a little bit better. I am not the best at a computer. And this is what the Zoom stuff is forcing us to do, is to learn how to use it. I am learning it. I don't like learning it too much. People that are on it all day long, they just want to get away from this stupid computer as fast as they can. That's what they do. Now, this is a total review of what I've done. Now, like I said, going back 82, figure that out. If it was 2022 next year, what's that? 40 years, if my math is right? Holy macaroni. That is incredible. If you could get out of Toastmasters, everything you get out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters. And I've never gotten out of Toastmasters. I mean, I took a little hiatus for a while, but you don't. And it's because it's fun. You meet new people, you learn new things. Now, this Zoom stuff is here to stay, the hybrid stuff. If we look at it, we have 5 people on here that cannot be in person. 2 of them are out of state. 3 of us are around. And so what happens? We have 5 additional people in a meeting that normally could not be here. It's change. What's the deal about change? I'm willing to change. Are you willing to change? Now, last time I did this wrap up summation last week, I said, I've got to have a call to action. I'll give you a call to action. Take on pathways, do it. Take on the challenge of the future. Don't sit back. Tantalize yourself. Think about all the things you can do in your future. The future is now. If you want to live in yesterday, stay in yesterday. But get out of the past. Move into the future. It's changing. It's been changing for, if you go by the Earth, maybe 5 billion years. And if you go by humanity, maybe 6,000 years. It's going to change. It's not going to stay the same. So my challenge to you is take up pathways, take up the computer, get to work, have fun. I'm looking forward to making my goals over the next 33 years. Are you? Madam Toastmaster.
Thanks, Phil, for that very enlightening speech. Our second speaker today will be Marty Johnson. And he'll be evaluated by Gerald Stevens. Gerald, would you like to?
Morning, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I'm going to evaluate Marty Johnson, DTM, honor evaluating him today. His pathway is leadership development. It's an elective. And his purpose today is to practice being aware of his feelings and his impact on others and responses others may have. Another purpose of the speech is to share his experiences with doing this project. Madam Timer, his timing is 2 to 3 minutes. Madam Toastmaster.
Understanding the impact of your attitudes and thoughts on daily interactions with others is crucial in order to get along with others. For this project, Marty will explain a few things he experienced that make him feel grateful, not hateful. Marty.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our virtual members and guests. As Carol and Gerald mentioned, this part of this project was to record my feelings and my positive and negative thoughts over the last couple of weeks, and I did make a little calendar for myself over the last couple of weeks, and I used my little Toastmaster technique with a little plus and minus next to my thoughts, and it focuses around three things and experiences that I went through during this project. And the three things are concerning my health, my work, my ability to work, and my son going to school for his first semester in college. And those thoughts affect how I feel, how I make someone else feel when I'm communicating with those people in those instances. The first area I want to touch on is my health. Many of you know that I had major stomach surgery last summer, and I'm thinking constantly to myself, what am I going to eat? What can I eat? What can I drink to make me feel good? And it's a continual process, and I'm on the downside of the hill of figuring out what I can eat and what I can't eat and what I can drink. And I'm thinking to myself, I try to stay focused and positive on talking to myself and talking to people in the health profession and finding healthy things to do, finding healthy things to eat. And I very rarely talk or think negatively of myself. Periodically, I might, for instance, eat some junk food, but then my stomach pays the price for it. So I try to stay focused and positive, not only in what I eat, but in my mental thought process and when I'm thinking of what I'm going to eat and do. The second area is my ability to work. And I had an experience 2 weeks ago, actually, where I was training a new stock clerk, and I realized that I was rushing the person. I wasn't really tantalizing him the way I should have. And I stepped back while I was training him. I said, slow down. It's the first day in the super center. The kid's never stopped at, well, he worked at Walmart, but he never worked at Tops before. Slow down. Talk to him how you want to be talked to and treated. Talk positively to him. And a couple times I found myself using language that may not have been positive, that I was rushing him to get something done. It's like, look, take this, set it on the ground, and you just stock the shelf. just do it. Don't look, just focus on, just do it. And then I realized, would you want to be spoken to that way on your first day that you're doing something? Talk to someone how you want to be spoken to. Speak to someone how you want to be spoken to, and stay positive. Talk positively to the person. The third and last area I just wanted to touch on briefly was my son Adam's first day at college last Tuesday, and I looked back in my notes, and Mike Florio told us about journaling in his speech last week, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, you gotta pay tuition, negative thought. Oh, how is he going to get to school? How is he going to do this? These negative thoughts are going through my mind. And then I said, in order to encourage my son to go to school, which is in another county, you have to talk positive to him. Talk, everything's going to be okay. We're going to do a test run. We're going to drive there. See where you're going to get the bill. See where you're going to get the shuttle. We're going to see where your first day of class, where your buildings are, and try to convey a positive thought to him. So then he can be more relaxed and he can communicate with me easier if I'm speaking calmly and more positively. And that's the gist of this brief presentation on my experience of recording my thoughts and my experiences and my positive and negative thoughts. And I've learned to try to be more positive in my communications with others, because I know it affects how they feel. And I hope that I've tantalized some of you this morning to do the same. Madam Toastmasters.
I have a timer's report, Kate.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Phil qualified with the buffer at 12:15. Marty went over his initial 2 to 3, but I overheard you speaking about the 5 to 7 option. Would you rather have done that, or you are a DTM and should have? Okay. You qualified that at 4:44 with the buffer on that end, but over for today's 2 to 3 minute target. So Phil Russell qualified by time. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
We just have 2 speakers that Phil Russell will be, due to time, will be our winner speaker today. And I wanted to just now, at the beginning, I read the start of the song, Vincent. Now, these are the last lines of that song. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen. They're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. Now I would like to call on David Jones as evaluator for Phil. I know it was a little difficult, people picking up some jobs today, because my 3 original speakers could not, and none of them could make it, so I had to do some adjustments. But David, do you have an evaluation?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Phil gave us a tantalizing speech that is always enjoyable whenever he does it. It was called "How About One More Thing?" And I thought he was going to pull out some knives or special offers, but he went right into it. And the good parts of the speech were he's able to adjust to the speaking order. And he thought he was going to go third or last, and then he had to change it. And that's what the great thing of Toastmaster is. We can practice making changes, making adjustments, dealing with technical issues and people not showing up, the things that we have to deal with in real life at work. And it's great to be able to do it here at Toastmasters. So I appreciate that he was able to make that change. He had good tone and pace, as he usually does. His facial expressions are great. I think they really add to the speech as a nonverbal. We can always kind of understand what he's saying. Even if he's on mute, we understand what he's saying. And he had hand gestures. He knows where to have his hands in the screen, where sometimes I'm down here, which is probably what I was just doing. And his speech style is always as if he's just talking to me only. And I don't know why I keep saying he, because I know he's right here, but I'm talking in general about him. But I feel like he's always talking to me in general. He's always laughing at his own speeches, which makes it very funny. He has his own philisms, which I think adds to the speeches and makes them relatable and very charming whenever he throws in his own words and his own style of speaking. So I think that's great. Now, for room of improvement with an advanced Toastmaster like himself, it's very hard to find something. And I was going to go to the generic stand up when you give a speech, but as an advanced Toastmaster, he explained why he doesn't do that. And I agree with it, that newscasters sit and give the speeches, except for the weatherman and the people out in the field. And I think when you are an experienced Toastmaster, it's good to explain your reasons for doing what you're doing. I think he kind of gave us some knowledge on how we should participate as Toastmasters. And finally, he did challenge a group to continue learning, to continue pathways, to continue learning computers, and to adapt to Zoom. And that's all I have. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
And now, Gerald, would you like to evaluate Marty?
In person.
Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. It's my pleasure to evaluate Marty today, fellow DTM. Very experienced speaker. Definitely want to talk about that in the beginning. You can see that it came out. There's many speeches that he's done. The gestures were natural, even kneeled down here a little bit. He had some vocal variety. Many speakers do not have vocal variety. They're just monotone. You don't want to be the monotone guy. I know I've had some teachers in the past, you probably all have, that put you to sleep. You don't want to be those people. So he raised his voice when he's a little bit frustrated with his employee. Maybe when he was talking about his son, you could see the passion there. Loved all that. So that was great. I also liked your organization. So you told us what you wanted to talk about right away. Often, sometimes in speeches, people will be wondering what is going on. Figure out what they're talking about. There was none of that. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the structure, health, work, family, kind of detail those one after the other. So I love that. And also, he had pretty good eye contact, I thought. He looked around quite a bit, looked at the camera a little bit. So I thought those were all excellent things. But as a Toastmaster, there is some improvement we look for, certainly. You did have a little bit of a flow issue there. You weren't as smooth as I normally see you. The last time you spoke, and I spoke at the same time. Your flow was perfect. You can tell that you practiced that one. So this one here is, I think, a little more rushed. And if you obviously practice a little bit more timing, obviously we didn't make time. 2 to 3 minutes is a short speech. That's like a table topic speech. So maybe just an intro for the next speech. That might be the way to go. This is what I'm going to tantalize you guys with what I'm going to talk about in the future. Intro. Okay, next time for the speech. That's something to think about. It's a unique situation with the timing of this project, I think, that made it a little harder for other people that might do this project. I love the fact you used the word of the day twice. That was awesome. In some clubs, you have to use the word of the day to qualify for a ribbon. I think he doesn't do that here, but other clubs do. So he's already all over that. And I like the fact you did a play-by-play on your thoughts. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I hear. Being positive is the way to go for sure. More people will be drawn to you. When you're more positive, you'll likely fill your goals. Being positive will keep you definitely not being depressed, but in the right frame of mind to live life. Madam Toastmaster.
And may we have Tanner's report?
Thank you again, Madam Toastmaster. Both qualified, I believe, and they sounded like they did. I inadvertently didn't set my time for David Jones. It certainly sounded like you knew what you were doing. And once I started back on estimating, you were at 2:45. Well done. And then also Dr. Stevens was at 2:53. So thank you both. And thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
We will vote for one of our evaluators, either David Jones or Gerald. Sylvia? Yes, ma'am. As I mentioned, the last line of the song, Vincent, is they would not listen, they're not listening still, perhaps they never will. But Vincent, we do hear you when we view your paintings in which your life has been immortalized. And I also would like to mention the exhibit Beyond Van Gogh that is up by the Eastern Hills Mall right now is absolutely worth the price of admission.
What is the price of admission?
For 46, I think. Yeah.
Could you repeat that?
Oh, it's an exhibit that's up in front of the Eastern Hills Mall right now. It's called Beyond Van Gogh. And it's very difficult, as Jackie, I believe, has seen it, very difficult to explain what it's like. But the first area you go into has many quotes from Vincent, from his brother, just gives a general.
Is it a tent that you're going
Yes.
to, or different?
Gigantic.
Yeah, big
Gigantic.
tent. It's that big white tent you can't
There's
miss.
that, you said it's $40? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's something I think, my daughter.
I think the word we're looking for here is total immersion.
Yes,
Because of
exactly.
the size of, I've driven by the tent, went, oh, check it out.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And after you go through this, you just realize and understand the creative genius of this man. And the one room you go, the final room you go into, everything's projected on the wall. There's one part where all of his self-portraits are. And if you watch his self-portraits and some of the portraits he painted, as you're watching them, their eyes blink. And there's, it's on the floor, it's on the wall, it's just amazing. And I'm so glad that somebody who, as a few remarks were made today, some people All they know is about Vincent is the fact that he did cut off one of his ears. But hopefully we will, especially if you see something like this, it is amazing what his talent was. And so I just hope his spirit was kind of present, that he knows how famous he became. And see, now I think we would like to hear from our general evaluator, Nancy.
Madam Toastmaster, what a fantastic, tantalizing subject. I loved your passion for the subject and for the art. I'm planning to go, but I hadn't heard too much about it except what I read. So now I'm really excited to go. We had only 15 people, I think, today, and a little technical difficulty, but I congratulate our technical staff for fixing everything with their little magic hands and making it work. I am always impressed when we can do this kind of thing and when anybody can master computer and sound and do the figuring out, I guess, of what's wrong. I can't do that. If it doesn't work the way I know how, I'm lost. So, I'm very impressed with that. And thank you for letting us know about the movie Lust for Life. I'm gonna go see if I can check it out.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas is the perfect Vincent.
And thank you for the toast. Sometimes as Toastmasters, we forget to toast. And that was a great toast. David, doing the evaluation for Phil. It's double hard doing an evaluation for a DTM++. Thank you for your flexibility and your being willing to step up to time his speech so that he could see the colors properly. Appreciate that. Loved your humor. Used the sandwich approach. And we really appreciated your willingness to do that and did a great job. And I have to stop looking at the screen because the camera's up here. Gerald, Marty, you evaluated for Marty. You were prepared with an introduction. And again, another fellow a fellow DTM. He used the sandwich approach as well. What he did well, room for improvement. And again, you made eye contact with the speaker when you were sharing your evaluation, which can't always be done on Zoom, but when we're in person, that's a good way to remember that it's a personal contact. Carol Ann, again, fantastic topic, Beyond Van Gogh. You tantalized the audience. You were very, very well prepared. You used the microphone, smoothly run in spite of some of the earlier challenges. One thing I would recommend is checking spelling on our names. Johnston, not Johnson, correct? I know how important my name is to me. And I just know how important my name is to me and all of us. Yes, but it's an easy mistake. Johnson is a much more popular name than Johnston, but we're glad to have Johnston among us. Loved your research, your song connections, your passion and enthusiasm, and I'm so excited to to go, which I had my tickets, but it wasn't that, it was just going. Now I'm going. Would you like me to call for reports or would you like to do that?
I'll let you do that if you like.
Okay,
And actually, I just want to make one comment. I know my daughter typed this up for me because it was taking me a long time to make my mistake. And I believe on my copy, I had Johnston, but.
we love you, and it doesn't make. Okay, let's start with, do we want to do the word master or do we want to wait until the end or? Okay, all right.
At least 5 more.
Well, then let's get rid of the ahs before we catch any more. Sylvia, thank you for stepping up for that.
I do have my paper at the other table, but what I found today, the word for a couple people were now is the beginning of a sentence. And not or as, but so just the letter A. It was interesting today. Thank you.
And we're halfway there. If it's a get choked up on it, at least we recognize that we're not going to complete it. Tech and Gesture Master, Tom Moran.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Let me start first with the gesture master part of this job. I thought everyone had very good gestures this morning, and they were easy to see. The speakers on Zoom, Phil, David, each did well with their gestures. And I think the speakers at the meeting who came forward all did well. I noticed in particular, Marty. Marty is very animated and in front of the camera. We just have to be careful, Marty, that you don't step out of the camera when you're doing your gestures. I noticed when you were stacking the shells with green beans there, you kind of went down a little low and I could just see the top of your head. So you have to be aware of that, which actually transfers into the technical part of the job that I have. The room setup today was so much better, I think, than it has been in the past. I noticed people came forward, used the microphone, stood in front of the lectern and addressed the crowd as well as the camera. And we need to be aware of this because it's like you're doing a TV show. I know David would probably know about this when you're directing something like a TV show, or if you're doing the local theater, you have to have a spot that you stand where people can see you. So I don't know if you want to put a piece of tape on the floor or what you want to do, but people did so much better today with their positioning and addressing the crowd. I particularly like, and I can see myself, the full screen on the TV screen and back, because that gives the speaker the full, it gives them, they have the full attention of everyone who is there. I liked a lot of what was done today, and I can see us working out a lot of the technical issues. We just have to be careful, I think, of the placement of the cameras, because a lot of times we walk in front of the cameras, or we're doing, I understand the people who are working on the technical end have things to do, and sometimes they stand with their back to the camera, and it eliminates our total view. But I see things improving, and I'm quite pleased with it. If I might comment on the theme of the meeting this morning and also the meeting itself. I know this isn't part of my job, but I printed out the schedule earlier in the Toastmasters week, Thursday to Thursday. And I checked off this morning that there were 7 people who did not show up for their jobs this morning, and those jobs had to be filled. One thing I like about this club, and I think it relates to the combination Zoom meeting and also our general Toastmaster skill, is people step up and will do things. And I hope that continues. But we have to be alert. We have to be aware, go over the schedule. And I know several people, I saw their names and I said, I haven't seen them in months. They're not going to show up. So we have to be aware of that and deal with that as it comes along. And if I might comment on Phil, I like his use of a quote from Shakespeare this morning, the world is my oyster. So thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Tom. And Thomas, outline, are you ready for our grammatical evaluation?
I got him here.
You got it.
Okay, I am here. I have to say that this morning, I sat here looking things up on my phone for most of the meeting. When someone would say something, I'd look it up, and almost every time I was wrong. So I think as grammarian, I learned more today than I have in many, many meetings. I think that it gave me an opportunity to grow. I did hear some really nice sayings, such as stacked in like sardines, descriptive language. I did enjoy that type of stuff in the meeting. Unfortunately, I can't come back with very many so's or and, like any grammatical run-on sentences. I sat here trying to take diligent notes and didn't really have anything. I wish I had something to give back, but unfortunately I didn't get anything today in today's meeting. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry for perfection. Thank you very much, Tom. And now we will go to our word master, Katie.
Very much, Madam General Evaluator. I believe there were more uses today. Nancy, I think you're the winner. You had more opportunities. Excellent. And lovely perfume. Oh, David, so silly. Jackie at one. Tom, I believe maybe in the beginning we were having some hearing audio issues. Tracy and Phil and Gerald and Marty twice at least. I'm sorry if I missed any of you. Thank you for using such a tantalizing word. Please use it the rest of the week. See you soon.
And who has been listening well? We're gonna find out from Tracy Farrell, our quiz master.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. I have some interesting tidbits that I picked up today. First of all, what's Larry McKenzie's favorite baseball team?
Yankees.
Right. How old was Vincent Van Gogh when he died of self-inflicted wounds?
37.
Hey, how do you know what we Listen. How old is Phil Russell?
All did he deserve.
77. He's 73. He'll be 74.
Any minute.
Well, I think he lied during his speech because he said he had 33 years to go before he hit 100.
61.
We still don't know how old Phil Russell is. Right. So Marty, in his speech, he was concentrating on 3 areas of emotional intelligence. What 3 areas was he focused on? And it doesn't have to do with emotional intelligence. What 3 areas in his life was he focusing on?
His sons.
One.
College.
1, 2, 3. Health, work, and his son. What person did Dr. Stevens tell us not to be? Said, don't be that person.
Boring teacher.
Absolutely. Another time professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. And now I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Carol. Carolina. Oh, Carol.
Yes, when I was growing up, all my relatives still call me Carol Ann, but And my husband always teases me, oh, it's today Carol Ann Day.
But what does
So-
Carol Ann prefer?
I'm used to Carol, but
All right, Carol it is.
let's see. I think we want our winners.
Yes.
Thomas.
Oh.
Right there.
Thomas has it also.
So let's announce it.
Thomas has the thing if he wants.
Yeah, you can
I have
let.
the, names of the winners.
Oh, okay.
I'm muted, am I? No, I'm not.
Okay, who?
All right. Well, as we know, Phil undefeated and the lone survivor of the speech today. He won, but he is on Zoom. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to draw the 50-50 ticket. So unfortunately, I'm going to bypass your ability to do that. And I'm going to give that to the evaluator. For table topics, the winner was Jackie. Congratulations, Jackie. I think that ribbon just got past. Excellent. And our evaluator today, the winner, was Gerald Stevens. I think Gerald's there, so he can pull the 50-50 ticket and announce that.
Big money today.
The number is 345014.
I got it.
Oh, Dave's lucky day.
I got
What's
an
that?
hour, baby. Now I can go to breakfast.
At half the ticket.
Here are your winners.
All right, please don't forget to take the other half of your ticket if you didn't win and go ahead and put your name on the back and put those in for the secondhand draw. I know we're back in person and it takes a little while to get back into things. If you forget that. Also, the Celtic Festival is coming up on the 18th and 19th. We need people to man the desk. I'm willing to do half of each day. So if we can get people, and I know that people have done it together, people have paired up and gone together. A good way to get in. You're manning a desk, you get to get in. So
You have to turn in the list of names.
enjoy the day. I'll be sending out an email on that hopefully tonight, and you can get back to me on that. So I'll give you all the details. Pathways, please continue along in Pathways. Get in there, get a speech in, have one ready to go so that we have a day like this again. That there's several people that have a speech that they're just waiting to give. I looked at next week. It looks like it's all filled. I didn't see any openings. I may be wrong, but please check your roles for next week. I'm going to open it up for any general announcements in the room.
I just wanted to mention that our treasurer has reminded us that dues are
I can't
due.
hear anything.
Tom? Tom?
I just had a quick announcement here. Thank you, first of all, Carolyn, for using the headset mic. As we work out these technical issues and the ideal configuration for all the equipment and this layout here, thanks for your patience. Reminder, everybody who does speak, come up here. This is a directional mic. You have to speak straight into it. And when you're not using the mic, there's a foam pad here. You lay it on that way it doesn't make noise rolling around the table, okay? Simple little thing like that. Thanks, Larry, for helping out with the audio for the first 10-15 minutes. We didn't have the sound from the remote participants, but we found a way to route that through the PA system now. So we're slowly coming in on the ideal configuration, and God willing, someday this will all function without Larry being here or me. It'll just be all documented and other people can step in. And in fact, I won't be here in 2 weeks. So I'm looking for an understudy for just switching the camera view on the monitor here. But we're getting there slowly. So thanks for your patience.
I would like to say, filling roles for the Toastmaster. I know, I think I received notice from 3 people just yesterday. And I know that in that case, things do come up at the last minute. And a couple of those, that was the situation. But as soon as the meeting ends today, take a look, see what you're supposed to do, confirm it if possible. And also, there's a way of communication we don't think of. Phil Russell called me on the phone. To be a speaker. Okay.
A telephone?
And I'll turn it back to our president, Tom. Yes.
Gavel us out. Yeah.
Meeting adjourns.
Wait a minute. One thing for post toast is,
Even if we had the sound coming out from under.
I was listening to National Public Radio in spite of myself.
So.
I found out about an app called Clubhouse. Clubhouse is actually on your phone. Instead of typing or texting, on Clubhouse, which is a new app that I put on my phone. You're not gonna text, you're actually gonna speak in the phone and hear other people speaking.
I am.
Not
I'm spending time
texting
with
or
my
typing.
sister. Head off Friday.
And the exciting deal is there's a little, naturally a little magnifying glass so you can look for stuff. They have all kinds of groups, all kinds of topics. And I found one called Toastmaster Entrepreneur. But I'm too shy to go in the room yet. But maybe now next week I will. It's called Clubhouse.
Really?
Yeah.
Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils.
Yeah, you know,
Catch the
it's
breeze
far
and
from the
the
top,
winter
height
chill
and dark,
in
and they are
colors on a
refrigerated.
snowy
And like, if you have the all ones, then you process them.
Okay.
And they can go on the shelf. Yeah, yeah.
I do have access to that.
If you don't process them and you just, you know, have like a good type of seal, and then you don't eat them for like. And I just like the okra. You know, I did okra for about 8 years.
Did you grow it or you bought it?
No, I don't know. Like one on the other side.
But a okra, you just buy. I went to.
There are two.
Did you
Did you
swirling clouds in violet colors changing. Morning fields of evergreen, weathered faces smiling, are soaked beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how.
The book I want to give you made it off the bookshelf to the table, it didn't make it to the meeting, it just went to my head.
That's a good idea what they were talking about.
But still your love was true.
Yeah, it's called Scribbles for a Living.
It looked like the left
Chronicles of
Like
One
the
TV.
side of
that
that
line there, but that's
starry
the spot, 'cause when you look at the
you took your
TV,
life as lovers often do.
where the boundary might be on that side. And
But
I
I
couldn't tell, and when I give it to you,
this world was never meant for one.
yeah, I think that's good though. And then you can, maybe try